I'm Frank Powers, and this is Lifestyle Tucson, the program where I speak to our neighbors, the people behind the scenes of our amazing organizations that are 501c3 nonprofits. Our friends are informing you how they serve our community, and they're here to give you updates on future projects. Let's make some new friends today. Yeah. So one day I was talking to my roommate because my mom was complaining that she doesn't know what to get me for my birthday because I supposedly have everything. My roommate looks at me and he just says, "What is she talking about? You love really, really big things that are really, really small and really, really small things that are really, really big." And I looked at him like, "You're 100% right. That's one of my favorite things to get." And that's why today's going to be a really fun episode of Lifestyle Tucson, because the Mini Time Machine Museum of Miniatures is a collection of miniatures including over 500 antique and contemporary dollhouses and room boxes with special exhibits highlighting the breadth and diversity of the art of miniatures. My favorite! Let's get on with the small talk because we have a big conversation ahead, because today I'm fortunate to speak with Emily Wolverton, curator of the Mini Time Machine Museum of Miniatures. Emily, welcome to Lifestyle Tucson.
Hello, thank you for having me.
I'm very excited. We've got Djamilla Dean Charles. She's the Director of Education and Engagement over at the Mini Time Machine Museum. How are you doing over there?
I'm doing well. Thanks again for having us.
We're old friends. We bumped into each other while she was educating at a camp at Saka. And I'm like, wait a minute, Djamilla, we hung out back in 2019.
No,
and we started doing, and let's keep meeting friends because we've got Amanda Muzaurieta, Marketing Manager of the Mini Time Machine Museum of Miniatures. Welcome.
Happy to be here. I'm the newbie.
Hi, Amanda. How are you? How did I handle your name? Was that all right?
Very well done.
Thank you. So I really am so pumped about talking with you today because this is one of my favorite things here in Tucson. Whenever anyone visits me from out of town, my parents was the first place that I took them. Like, you have to see this place, because that collecting habit that I did get, I got it from my mom. She collects all the stuff from the Honeymooners and I Love Lucy when I'm growing up. So then that's me as I start collecting Spider-Man and Wolverine, Wolverton. So that's the point, is that I love all this stuff and I really do enjoy what you're doing and how much you've even grown in the past, I don't know, decade since when I first went. So many fun programs, so many camps, and some big names coming to town with some of your future exhibits.
Yeah.
But as I'm obviously going on and on, I'm so excited. Why don't you give us a little of the 101 on what the Mini Time Machine Museum of Miniatures is all about?
Okay, I'll take this one. So for those of you unfamiliar with the Mini Time Machine Museum of Miniatures, it was founded by Patricia and Walter Arnell. And Pat was a collector, just like you were talking about. And Pat loved miniatures as a child. She had a dollhouse that was a treasured dollhouse, like most of them are, and created lots of memories with it. And as she got older, that dollhouse ended up being given away to a young niece. But Pat kept the furniture. The furniture was very special to her. Her mother had made little handmade, hand-sewn dolls with these cute little stitched faces. And Pat kept that furniture and those dolls in a little shoebox. And as an adult, everywhere she went, everywhere she traveled, she kept them with her. And then Pat and Walter moved to Arizona in the 1970, and she rediscovered that shoebox. And she said, you know what, I'm going to find another dollhouse and I'm going to put those pieces away. She found one and it triggered her love of dollhouse miniatures, and it opened up a flood, and she got into that world. Dollhouse miniatures were having a really big moment, like they are right now. Mm-hmm. Miniatures are having a moment.
They are.
They were having a moment in the 70s as well. The 70s and 80s was a really exciting time for miniature collectors. There were clubs opening up around the country, and Pat dove right in. And so our museum opened in 2009 with the collection of the Arnells. They wanted to share their collection with the world. The Mini Time Machine Museum's mission is to preserve and advance the art of miniatures, and we're always looking to promote new artists and just share the love. So, yeah.
What a great story. Because I was wondering, how does it wind up here in Arizona? And there's a Star Trek museum up in upstate New York, and you just wonder, how does that wind up there? It's because a mega fan, well, that's where he lives, so that's where I'm building it. That's where it's happening. And that's what happened here with this great exhibit. And it's just bigger than people realize, and it's beautiful.
Thank you.
What is just from the top of my head, I'm just remembering going in there, what is the tree? There's a big tree in there.
Yes,
correct?
There is a big tree.
Yes.
Yeah, so Pat and Walter, when they were designing the museum, they did some really magical things there. Pat always described herself as someone who just never grew up. So one thing she did was have that large tree. That large tree has multiple faces. And people who see that tree, they think it looks a lot like Grandmother Willow from Disney's Pocahontas.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that is it was actually a Disney Imagineer who designed that tree.
Oh,
which
wow.
is why it does have a little Disney-esque feel to it. But that tree has 3 different faces, and it really unites our Enchanted Realm gallery, which has miniatures that Pat loved Halloween. So there's a whole section in there with spooky Halloween.
Yep.
She loved the winter holidays, and so there's also there's also a Christmas face that looks at all the winter wonderland, and then there's that nice beaming face that greets you as you walk in. And then Pat also has, she designed a little tiny door. So those who walk up to the mini time machine will recognize right away that there is a huge door as you're walking up. There is a regular human-sized door, and then there's also a very small door. And that small door is the fairy entrance to the museum. I tell children when they try to open it that you have to be a fairy to open it. That's why you can't open it. You got to be a fairy. And when you walk in, the little fairy, her name is Caitlin. Caitlin is our mascot fairy of the museum, and she flies in with you. She has her own little tiny fairy museum with tiny fairy miniature treasure inside. And
Wait, there's a tinier museum inside?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I love it so much.
Yes, there is a tiny fairy museum right as you're walking in, and that is Fairy Caitlin's private museum.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, there's a little leprechaun in there with a pot of gold. Yeah.
That's amazing. Because I want people to, if they've never been, it's not just a room of dioramas on a shelf.
No.
It is a very enchanting place that you really walk in and you get lost in all of the wonder and magic that is. I mean, you've literally got some Magic Kingdom right in there.
We do.
Which is shocking and so fun to learn about. Let's talk about some of the current exhibits that are going on, because guess what? Technically, I'm in the Mini Time Machine Museum of Miniatures. Yes, I am one of what was originally called the Tucson Army Man Project, is now called Tiny Tributes. It's by Rudy Flores and Teresa Estrella. And it's a celebration of the people and the stories of our community. And what they did was, when 3D printing was first getting started, obviously it's one color. Well, what color are they going to pick? Let's use green. And they printed out a bunch of local artists, musicians, and all these fun folks here in town as little army men. And I was part of Series 1 just because Rudy's just knew me from the community and knows I'm nice. And just when he announced it, I backed the Kickstarter. I backed it at the maximum because I loved it. And I thought it was such a great community project. And it's incredible. So that exhibit is there featuring over 300 local people. And that's fun. If you've never seen that, I guarantee that there are familiar faces in that crowd of people. Some of your favorite bands, some of your favorite artists and storytellers in town. Are you one?
I was also part of that original Kickstarter. So I'm not in it currently, but I was in the very first batch. And yeah, that was really fun because we had that one on display too. So we displayed his army men. And then, this one is a new collaboration that we wanted to just really keep it going. And so it's an ongoing. He continues to make them, and we will just continue to show them. And it's really lovely to have members of the community on display here at the museum. It's really fun.
It is really fun. I'm up to my third one because I like to wear various outfits.
Well, and they're getting better. The
are.
technology keeps getting better.
Yes.
I remember, so my first edition, I'm kind of like a smooth face, but now the detail that you can do is incredible.
No, it's wild. It is very wild. And again, I tell everyone, you got to get down there and explore this. And the other thing to explore there that is on display right now are signs of community.
Yes.
The signage of the old Pueblo in miniature, amazing stuff. It's exploring signs of the community from a local artist. His name is Jorge Ruiz. I followed him on Instagram the second I saw what he was doing because he has the ugly but honest sign, right? He's got Rocco's, the famous Rocco's sign, so to make it tiny is hysterical.
Yes.
How many pieces are actually in that exhibit, do you think?
About a dozen.
Yeah. About a dozen amazing little icons from right here in our community as well. So now we've got hundreds of little people. We've got some of the tiny signs going on. I mean, pretty soon we're going to have to pave the roads. Well, they don't do that here, so we don't need to build the neighborhood, so don't worry about a thing. Let's talk about some of the education before we talk about what's coming up in the future, because you got a big display coming up with the Ray Harryhausen exhibit, but I want to jump ahead and we'll get back to that because that's not going on now. We're going to look forward to that. Let's talk about some of what we're going on with education with Djamila right here, because you're doing all these fun camps. I saw you when you were doing a fun camp teaching kids at Saka inside of Catalyst over at the Tucson Mall, the Catalyst Creative Collective. doing a camp teaching kids how to make these miniatures. What other education and camps are there at the museum? Because I think there's a lot of opportunity. One is coming up that unfortunately, I wish I could go, but I can't. But you get together even virtually, and you'll build things together, which is fun. There's a pinball one that just happened.
So we have like a mix of different programs that kind of meet people when they're beginning their miniature exploration and just diving into miniatures. So we, of course, do our virtual Minis for All, and it's for all ages. So it's just folks getting started. So we try to use materials that are easily found at home, like paper clips or Altoid boxes, and just find ways to make some cute things and just work with them and have instructions that they can essentially subscribe to monthly. So they get that and they're able to interact with miniatures in that capacity. And then we also have our Minis and Sip, which is upcoming, but we're going to do a tiny pinball machine.
Yes. What is Minis and Sip?
It's exactly the name. So we make miniatures and we sip a little bit.
Of what?
Of wine.
Oh my goodness. What a good time.
Yes. I don't know how we greenlit this because, making miniatures and being a little incapacitated.
You got to watch the hot
It's
glue.
always fun. Watch the hot glue. But no, it's just like learning some more artistic skills with miniature making and making some like fine, tiny things.
How fun. Because everyone likes to drink and draw or a paint and sip.
Absolutely.
So doing fun sculpture, because that's what this is. It's sculpture work,
Yeah.
isn't it? And it's a bit of collage to a degree. There's some decoupage if you want it to be that. There's a lot of little things and intricacies when it comes to getting involved with miniatures, but also a fun collaborative night, getting together and doing something, especially such a unique hobby and interest. Because if you meet someone else in that room, you're instantly kind of friends. Because it's a unique thing to love, I think, But if you both like miniatures, I think we're going to have a pretty specific conversation.
Absolutely. I think we have our group of folks that join us probably every session. And it's just fun to see the adults kind of letting loose. I feel like the kids are always given agency to make whatever they'd like and make mistakes, but the adults kind of get into that realm too. So it's fun to see them let loose.
That's a good point, right? I love helping adults let loose. That's the idea. Because, again, some of these people are a little too stiff. You got to remember what it's like to be a kid. Tell me a little more about some of these camps, and let's talk about some of the kids and opportunities for these kids that are there to explore, try some of these things out, and just your experience being, with the education part of all of this. Because what an amazing position that you have.
It's been fun so far.
Right?
So in terms of camp, we try to integrate a little bit of STEM. So I feel like miniatures naturally lend themselves to, of course, math. We have to deal with scale and teaching them how to make things even tinier. But of course, technology and just exploring a bit of Tinkercad and 3D printing. So we get to do some really fun camps, like making little bakeries or doing Norse mythology, and also helping them create their own toys, like the crank automata sort of mechanism. So they're learning how to do their own crank mechanisms.
Yeah, engineering and machinery.
Absolutely.
That's
using
incredible.
recycled materials. So it's something that when they leave us, they can do it at home and make whatever they'd like and keep creating.
So there's a lot to it.
Yes.
There is a lot to it. Let me ask about just when it comes to something that surprises you about educating these kids about some of this, because it is such a unique, fun thing that you're doing. Tell me about a challenge you had in this, because this sounds to me, it's like you have the best job in town. Okay? It just sounds like you have the best job. All of you, being a part of this. But then, wow, you get to be, look what your title is. I'm sorry, that's just incredible. So, right? So, tell me about what it's been or something that surprised you about your position and what it's been with the kids.
Honestly, I feel like working with the kids, I've learned to not underestimate them and their abilities.
There you
They
go.
are absolutely a lot smarter than what we give them. So I think I'm always amazed at how they pick up the material so quickly. And we're just okay, what else can we do with them? We did our stop motion animation camp. So they essentially learned how to draw out their storyboards, figure out the scene sequentially. And then they also had to build their sets. So just trying to figure out okay, how many seconds do we need to account for within these drawings? So every, I think 24 frames is 1 second.
Yep.
So they had to figure out how to draw out everything and then also animate for a second, which was really fun.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just been fun. I think there's like always like difficulties in like teaching and working with the kids, but it's just all fun.
That's awesome. That is fun. And there's someone else here taking videos, taking photos. She's sitting here, director of marketing and all that fun stuff. Probably another kind of fun, easy job, because what a fun thing to sell.
Yeah, right?
There you
It
go.
is super fun to be the marketing manager for the Mini Time Machine. What's so cool about this museum is the fact that it can reach so many different audiences, so in such a detailed capacity, right? We have kids, we have adults, but not just come drink wine and look around, but you're also, getting to make and getting to really de-stress, I guess, which leads me to a new event we're hosting, which is yoga in the galleries.
I saw that right at the top on the website.
On
Yes,
the third Sundays of every month. We'll have our first one here on September 7th. So another way to minimize stress.
Minimize
Yeah.
stress, right?
In a different capacity. But again, there's just the capacity to reach so many people. And like you said, miniatures are having a hype right now, which should never go away. But, everybody goes through phases. But TikTok, Instagram, making miniatures is really blowing up. So I think we're in a really cool position to get ourselves out there, not just locally, but I think that's the best aspect of the Mini Time Machine is its local capacity. I mean, with a local yoga instructor to bring in the community in a different way that's not just looking at miniatures, but just vibing in that zone. But also at the national level with Djamila's Minis for All, we've had people send us pictures from, where was it, Texas, Pennsylvania. So we're not just talking to Tucsonians, but we're also talking to those outside of this state. So it's really cool.
It's a destination to me. If I was going anywhere where I'm traveling cross country, if I'm just traveling on I-10, getting from one place to another, I'd be like, well, that's a place to stop.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing like it. And there's nothing like it. Is there anything else like this really at all? A museum of this nature.
So they're in Europe. Europeans, they've got it down. But in the United States, no. We are the only museum specifically dedicated to miniatures.
That's incredible.
There are museums with miniatures in their collection, and certainly you can go and see the Thorn Rooms up at the Phoenix Art Museum. That's absolutely incredible. Yeah, but we're the only ones with just miniatures, so that's pretty great.
Isn't that something special? Right here in Tucson, because again, this place is magic, and I love it.
It's really great.
It does show you that there's a lot going on with this art form, because it is an art form, and it's really fun to celebrate. So I just want to ask, you all must have something in your personal collection that is really, really tiny. I'll start. My thing is I have a Spam, like a can of Spam from a dollhouse that's the size of my pinky nail.
Oh, my gosh.
I've had that forever. I have lost it for sometimes years at a time, and then I'm like, oh, I'm moving, I found it.
Yes.
Hysterical. So that's one of my favorite things. I even keep it in like a little gold case.
Oh, my gosh.
It's hysterical. What is like one of your favorite mini things that you own?
I have so many things now. So I was already collecting many things, of course, before working at the museum. And actually, for a while there, I was making my own miniature jewelry, like tiny terrarium jewelry with the itty-bitty railroad scale.
Wow.
Yeah, like little snow globe rings and things with tiny little people and trees inside. I love it. I love things that are small. My favorite, because you're putting me on the spot, I think my favorite tiny thing that I have at home now is something which actually belonged to Pat Arnell, our museum founder. It was something that we didn't acquire for the collection, and so I purchased it as a fundraising opportunity for the museum. But it is a fortune teller, an actual tiny fortune teller, has these little tarot deck, a tarot deck card in front of her, and she can actually move and turn with her hands, and like a little crystal ball in front of her lights up.
Oh, wow.
It's incredible. It's like it is a treasured possession.
That's awesome.
It's fantastic.
Heck yeah. What about you, Djamila? What's your favorite tiny thing?
You're making me choose. I love all of my children equally.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess I have, it's like a Disney, and it was by one of the artists that we had teach at our museum. He made like the poison apple for Disney. So
Oh,
I
wow.
have, like a miniature of those apples, and I really like them.
That's awesome. All right, what about you?
So I'm new to the mini world. Like I said, I'm the newbie. Only been in this world for about 6 months. Yeah. So I can't say that I have a miniature at home that's my favorite, but going back to kids and integrating them into miniatures, I have 2 boys, and mini Lego figures are all around my house, stepping on them, hurting myself. But also, it's not even just that. It's those little mini NFL players, soccer players that are all collected by kids these days. So that's where I'm at right now. I've started my collection. I think I just bought a mini Lilo and Stitch book from our own store, so that's exciting.
There you go.
We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
I bought tiny art supplies from your store once. I have like tiny colored pencils in the tiny palette.
Heck yeah.
Yes. So super fun. I do dig it so much. Let's talk about just a little bit of some lofty questions because we've only got a little bit of time left, unfortunately, because time flies when you're having the best time of your life. And that's what I'm doing for sure. So you can donate to the Mini Time Machine Museum of Miniatures. Yep. It's an important thing to do. There are memberships, so you can join, and that'll help this organization. And there's just more to it and more ways to get involved. And I don't know even if there even says job opportunities. I don't know if there are any right now, but go to the website and check it out at theminitimemachine.org. You don't got to remember the entire long title for the very small place. But yes, just go to theminitimemachine.org to get all the details. You can follow them also on Facebook and over on Instagram as well. I'll give you all these ats in the recap. But let's ask just some other just fun, lofty questions. What's a secret about the Mini Time Machine Museum of Miniatures that we may not know?
A secret.
That's right.
A secret. Wow. You're going to make me reveal the secrets?
There's got to be one
secret.
Secrets.
Okay. I don't know if this qualifies, but I will tell you this, that our founder, Pat, had a very funny sense of humor. It was right during the pandemic. We were thinking about doing a whole segment called Secrets of the Museum.
Oh, okay.
And there are hidden away, never to see the light of day, I do hope, pictures of me pretending to be like Sherlock Holmes and holding a magnifying glass. No, Amanda, don't get excited.
I'm excited to share those.
We were actually going to sort of reveal some little funny secrets of the museum, like little things you didn't know about the pieces and that sort of thing, and kind of a little behind the scenes. One of my favorites is that there is a doll in one of the houses, and Pat had a story for every piece she did. She always had her own little stories for everything, and there is an older female character. She is a maid in a house there at the museum, and if you lift her dress up, in her stocking is a wad of cash, and Pat, and you never would see it. It's behind glass. Her skirt is down, but Pat, in her story, Pat was like, she's just saving her money and getting ready to run. She's like, she's gonna escape one of these days. She's just pocketing away her money. So there is a doll with like a wad of cash under her skirt, and there's all kinds of funny little things like that because Pat was just hilarious. She had a really funny sense of humor.
That's so. What I know are Easter eggs in some of these dollhouses.
That is an Easter egg. Yeah, that's less of a secret, more of an Easter egg.
Yeah. You can spend a lot of time in there and just keep looking, and you're going to notice. And I think that's what you need to do.
Yes.
Is you can walk around and take it in, but then like look again and then see what starts to show up as the stories will reveal themselves.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. And they all have a story. And I will tell you, I've been at the museum for almost 16 years now, and I still see things that I did not notice before.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's super fun.
Yeah.
And that's why a membership is so ideal.
Indeed.
There you go.
That's why, because keep on going, keep coming back, because again, join the yoga and do these things, take these classes, meet some friends that have a unique hobby that you yourself have and love, and it's just a good fun time. It's pure fun. This is pure fun. There's like nothing else that you can say about like, let's make really tiny things, gang. Like,
right.
It is the least serious thing on the planet. Like, it's so funny and just really great. And again, there's so much community in this museum, whether it is the signs and or the army guys and just what you all do together. Yeah. I love the vibe of it, and that's what people care about these days. Good vibes, right? That's all anybody talks about.
Yes.
So I really love what is happening there and just more that you have in store. Let me ask, Djamila, why don't you answer this lofty one? If you had a wish for this organization, what would that wish be?
Ooh.
I know.
Wish for even more global recognition.
Yeah, well, there you go. Global recognition is a big deal, and you have a program that can achieve it. With the one that you're doing online, where you're building things together and getting people in Pennsylvania, Texas, all this stuff. That's why I think it was important that I was asking, like, is there another place like this? No. All All right, we're going to make it from tiny to big. Not too big, but you get what I mean. Amanda, let's ask you one lofty thing. We haven't even talked about what's coming up, and you do have a great exhibit that is coming up. So since you're in charge of marketing, why don't we talk about Ray Harryhausen and the fact that, why don't I give you a little bit of who Ray Harryhausen is? Because he's an American-British animator and special effects creator who is regarded as one of the most influential figures in the history of both fields, his career spanning more than 40 years, and he built upon the techniques of his mentor, Willis H. O'Brien, to develop a form of stop-motion model animation known as Dynamation. And that is what is famous in movies like Sinbad, which he did many of those, Jason and the Argonauts, and Clash of the Titans. And your museum is going to be displaying some of these famous movie props. Some of them are almost 100 years old, because that's how long this man was making these films. To get these actual pieces here, that is like real museum-y stuff. That's Hollywood museum stuff.
Big leagues, baby.
Yeah. So tell me all about how excited you've been to promote this, because you get to be in charge of, like, is this, do you think, one of the bigger opportunities that this museum has had in its existence is having the Ray Harryhausen exhibit?
Yes.
I would say so, even though I've only been here for 6 months. But I mean, it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to speak from a marketing perspective, but then I'm going to turn it over to Emily because she knows Ray Harryhausen inside and out, and I do not. But yes, it's extremely fun to be able to use his creatures that he loves so much to promote this exhibit and get it the recognition that it deserves. So been able to work with some cool people on creating some cool stop motion animation videos to promote and market it to not just, again, here in Tucson, but to those movie lovers in LA and New Mexico and Nevada. So again, it's that ability to bring in those outside people that are not just here in Arizona. But Emily, please expand. I know you want to.
Before you even do, let me ask you, when you do have people coming to the museum, I think people, or that maybe you fill out cards or something like that, do you get that sort of feedback of like, we came here from Texas, we came here from somewhere else, so that you'll be able to track some of this? Because I bet this exhibit is actually going to be a draw from you're going to get people that have never been, and they're going to come for this.
Yeah, I think that the other cool aspect, the other cool audience with this exhibit specifically is universities, those film school students, which we're really trying to reach out to get them to come see this and also talk to their curator, Connor Heaney, and also Ray Harryhausen's daughter, Vanessa Harryhausen, while they're here. So that's a really cool opportunity for them that we want them to take advantage of.
Yeah, and just like the mini movement in general, stop motion is having a big movement as well. It's incredible to watch all the stop motion that happens online now and all these toy people that do this stuff. It is absolutely incredible. So to see, again, a really great celebration of this happening right here is so wonderful. Tell me all about it, Emily.
Well, I'll tell you because, why Ray Harryhausen, why our museum? And so one of the things that we try to do with our temporary exhibitions, which we bring in multiple every year, is to really expand that scope of how people view miniatures. We definitely have quite a few dollhouse miniatures, but we also, as you know, we have the tips of pencils that are carved by Salavat Fidai. We just recently had another fantastic exhibit of David Corrins and his Broadway set models, which were used for Beetlejuice and Hamilton and Dear Evan Hansen. So there are a lot of really interesting ways to look at miniatures and how they're used in different industries. And so this is a great use of looking at how miniatures are used in special effects and in particular stop motion. And one thing that all miniatures have in common, whether they're toys, whether they're sacred objects from another culture, whether they're dollhouses, they all help tell stories. It's all about storytelling. And so that's been a really fun part of the Harryhausen exhibition too, is that Ray himself had such an imagination. And he was inspired by seeing King Kong in 1933, and it just changed his life. He was 13 years old, and it just changed his life. He knew he wanted to dedicate his life to stop motion animation, and he became one of the greatest of all time. So we've been working with the Ray and Diana Harryhausen Foundation, which is in Edinburgh. Ray ended up moving over to the UK in the 1960s, I believe, and he stayed there, and he ended up marrying Diana Livingston, who is, I think, like the great-granddaughter of like the famous Dr. Livingston, I presume.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is pretty cool. So that's why it's over there in Edinburgh, because he was an American, born in LA, but he ended up living there. So that's why the foundation is over there. And so we've been having a wonderful time getting to know the foundation. I am so privileged. I've been able to speak to Vanessa Harryhausen herself, and we're going to have quite a few objects on display. So Ray was involved with 16 feature films. So we will have objects from every one of his 16 films on display, whether it's models or armatures or sketches that he did or storyboards that he did. It's going to be quite a display. It's been a lot of fun for me to watch the movies and learn more about him. He was an incredible man.
Heck yeah. Is this the owl song there that I'm looking at? I love that. It's amazing.
That's the owl. Yeah, that's Bubo, the owl from Clash of the Titans.
And the amazing skeleton army that he's so famous for.
Absolutely.
That I'm looking at, the Medusa, all the stuff.
Yes, Medusa. We're going to have our girl Medusa.
Yeah, we went through a phase of Clash of the Titans. I love that movie.
Yes,
it's just a fun, very unique kind of like, you got to watch it at some point in your life.
Yeah.
I'm a King Kong guy myself. I love Godzilla, but I'm a King Kong guy myself. That is so fun to hear. And what a great time. And again, it's nice to hear how much you do appreciate this amazing opportunity for what you've been able to achieve here for this great display that's coming up. It's going to be there September 30th through May 3rd.
Yep.
So you got plenty of time to go see it. Get those tickets, go join, become a member so you can go ahead and do this more often than once. Before we go, any final thoughts or any last calls to action to anybody out here listening about this just great organization and what you guys are all about? Because you can hear this has been a joy for me. Just any last calls to action to get people motivated to come on down or to get involved. There's also just volunteering is always good. Do you have volunteer opportunities available for folks?
We do. And I will say for one more call to action, too, is this exhibit is presenting a nice opportunity to collaborate with the theaters in town. Mm-hmm. And so the Loft is going to do a screening with Vanessa Harryhausen on October 4th of Jason and the Argonauts. Wow. And then we're also working with the Fox Theater that they're going to have a closing Q&A because next year is the 45th anniversary of Clash of the Titans.
Wow.
So they're going to do a screening of that as well. So that's been really nice to work with the theaters in town.
That's brilliant because you want that synergy that makes a community come together, and that's what this is all about. And again, way to make something an event that these people are going to come to town. It's like, it's not just here. We're doing something down there for you. We're doing something over here with you.
Yes.
We're really excited to celebrate this art form, probably better than any city has. I can't wait for you to roll out the very tiny red carpet for these folks. It's going to be a good time. And what about you, Djamila? Any last things to get these kids inspired to maybe join the camps, get these parents involved so that they know they could send their kids to get some fun, unique education from you?
Absolutely. So we always try to offer something where you just can dip your toes into miniature making. So, of course, summer camp is no longer with us, but you can look out for rodeo break camp. And then we also have some, can I talk about trains? Yes.
Heck yeah, trains are coming.
Yes,
Woo!
Trains are coming.
Okay.
So be on the lookout for some workshops that integrate like creating layouts and making trains move. So kind of everything on the horizon. And then we also have Era Bentley coming to do a workshop with creating miniatures in Warbler. I never know how to pronounce that, but it's essentially like the costuming fabric for cosplay. So like making miniatures with that. And then we also have a workshop for Jorge Ruiz in November where we're essentially, just had the conversation of the ever-changing landscape of Tucson and how a lot of buildings are like bulldozed. So just inviting people to, create their own interpretation of Tucson and like the buildings and homes that they remember.
Oh, I got a rebuild grill.
Yes.
That's what I'll do.
Or the
That's my favorite
Flycatcher.
place.
Oh my goodness.
Right?
Yes.
Or Shot in the Dark where we hung out back in the day, right?
Absolutely. All these places that are gone that like we just want to breathe more life into. So yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Come
we
join
make
us.
grill.
Yo, I'll do it. I went down to the Neon Sign Museum and they built an amazing they reproduced the storefront of it.
Really?
Yes, I was there the night they lit it up because I worked at Grill. I still live with the guy that hired me at Grill. I got a tattoo of Grill. Grill was a big piece.
Grill was the place to be.
Yes, if you missed it, you missed out, let me tell you. But it really was. So that is a precious piece of Tucson memory that if there is an event where it's like, yo, let's rebuild some buildings, I'm going to rebuild that diner.
Heck yeah.
It's open later than you think, even now, very tiny. That's the spirit. All right, let me ask you one last question. Any last things from our marketing director here?
Yeah, I want everybody to follow, and check out our website to find out what's happening in September for our anniversary month. Our birthday is coming up, so We got some membership deals and other fun things going on, so check us out.
That's the spirit. Check them out, because today we made friends with Emily Wolverton, Curator, Djamilla Jean Charles, Director of Education and Engagement, as well as Amanda Muzaurieta, Marketing Manager of the Mini Time Machine Museum of Miniatures, preserving and advancing the art of miniatures for all. Thank you all so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. This has been fun.
Thank you for having us.
Hey, this was Lifestyle Tucson.
What a big conversation it was with the Mini Time Machine Museum of Miniatures. I was just like crushing on them, right? How ridiculous. So much fun. What a great group. So fun and friendly. You got to hang out with them, obviously. They've got these great classes going on and things. That yoga thing starts today. So if you're hearing this now live on a Sunday morning, you can go head out to the Mini Time Machine Museum of Miniatures at 4455 East Camp Lowell Drive here in Tucson, Arizona, and go take a yoga class in the morning, surrounded by the magical, mystical, tiny things happening there. I'm looking at pictures over on their Instagram at the Mini Time Machine. You only got to follow them there. Very easy. They also have a Facebook page, and you can go find them over at theminitimemachine.org to get all the details, get a membership, learn how to volunteer, learn the next time they're sipping and making tiny miniatures, because my goodness, this just sounds like the most fun. I will rebuild grill. That is the best idea, and what a good time. I am definitely going to join some of these camps, some of these classes, and just go have a really big fun time at this tiny fun place. I'm so pumped. I want to thank our new friends at the Mini Time Machine Museum of Miniatures for joining me today. You've been listening to Lifestyle Tucson. If you're a nonprofit that would like to be on the show, email lifestyletucson@gmail.com. For more information about this program or to listen to something you may have missed, go to the Sunday Mornings page over on klpx.com, kfma.com, mixfm.com, frankthehanktucson.com, or espntucson.com. You can also subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, or wherever fine podcasts are tiny. Follow on Facebook, YouTube especially, and Instagram at Lifestyle Tucson, because I'm your BFF, your best Frank forever, Frank Powers. And toot toot Tucson, I love you the most.